Clarifying our goals is a very important step in moving forward in life. Most people go through life wishing and hoping can set up dreams, but many people don't even tend to take it as far as establishing dreams. But if we are really going to make progress, we need to set goals. There was a study done at Yale, and we found that about 3 to 9% of the people in the United States set goals. That's all. And those people accomplish more in their lifetime than the other 90% added together. The reason they do is because they have goals, they have direction, they know where they're going, they're not drifting, they're not wandering, they're not wishing, they're not hoping. They're just moving forward with their plans. One of the things that's important about goals is that it helps our belief, it helps our confidence, it helps everything that we do. And the smart person starts with very small goals and establishes belief and self-image and everything that makes us stronger inside, because we accomplish things. And when we accomplish things, we feel better about ourselves. So ideally, we just start with some very small goals. Clean the garage. Now, there have been many people that have had that on their wish list for a year, 2 years, 3 years. The goal setting step is simple. I am going to clean the garage and it will be done before the end of the week. And this will be done. Then I get out my calendar and I say I'm going to do it on Saturday, and I'm carving out 4 hours to do that. If it takes longer, I'll schedule another period of time to do it. But that's how we tie it all together. So we start with smaller goals to build confidence. But the idea of the goal, it's very simple, but I think the reason most people aren't goal setters is because they don't know how. No one has ever taught them such a simple process, but if I've not been taught this simple process, I don't know how to do it. In its simplest form, I set a goal. The goal has to be specific. It has to be measurable. I know at the end that I got finished with it or I didn't get finished with it. It has to be attainable. I have to believe I can attain it. That's where our belief comes in. It has to be realistic. It has to be something that, again, that I really believe can happen. And there needs to be a timetable involved with it. I'm going to be finished by fall. I'm going to be finished by the end of the week. If I tie those things together with the simple part, what do I want? That's the goal. Why do I want that goal? Because if the why isn't strong enough, I probably won't accomplish the goal. Okay, now I know what I want, why I want it. Next, I have to determine why don't I have it. I have to lay down on a piece of paper, why don't I have that goal? I have to look at the obstacles. What are the obstacles that are keeping me from getting it? Once I get the obstacles down, then I have to decide to set action to take care of those problems that I have. And we call those action steps. And all the action steps do is tell me what action I have to take to reach the goal. Now that sounds very simple, and it is very simple, but we don't tend to sit down and break out a goal that way. If we were to do that, we would find that we would be in the top 3 to 9% of the people in the United States.
The choice to change, it had been there before, like I had said, with my mom passing in 2004, I was in jail and they let me out hours before she took her last breaths, and I was kind of thinking, maybe that was my stopping point, but it kept going on after that, and it was just kind of crazy that wasn't enough, because that was one of the most devastating things to ever happen to me in my life, and but it actually got worse after that happened. And finally, I remember one day, just, this is enough. What do I need to do? And that was a big thing with me. I never understood how or why or when, to change. The change was scary. you know, standing at the bottom of that mountain and looking up at the top of it was just so overwhelming. And that's what one of the biggest roadblocks for me was. But that's part of what this class has taught me, is it's not reaching the goal, it's what you go through and your climb to get to that goal. You know, I can remember one of the first weekly goals that we set. One of mine was get over to my dad's and mow his yard, you know, and with having no self-esteem and not a lot of drive and not, you know, a lot of direction, I mean, just setting those small goals like that. And then with my mentor, Diane, you know, I remember she was the one who, okay, Piper, start saving every receipt. And I'm like, what? She made me save every receipt for every purchase, and then she helped me do this budget, you know, and see where all my money was going. And that right there got me started with my savings account, and I almost have $4,000 saved now. You know, I've never had a savings account that I have never touched, and I don't touch it. You know, the money goes in, you know, and when I was making $655, and then when I got moved up to the supervisor position and then the manager position, you know, there was a raise that came up with each position, and I still act like I'm making $655, you know. So with all that extra money and plus the bonuses now, and you know, it can be put away for some of my bigger dreams and goals. But taking those little tiny baby steps and setting those little tiny goals, you know, and now I can look back over almost a year and it's like, wow, you know, look at how far I've come. I mean, it's just kind of amazing to me. So instead of looking clear up to the top of that mountain, it's, you know, one hand and one foot at a time.